Hello guys, this is my ancient Egypt school project for for my school. So today I'm gonna be going over my world and showing my class my world. So the first thing I'm gonna show you guys is the Nile River. So it's a very long river that goes into the ocean. And if you didn't know yet, the Nile River is the longest river in the world. And it's it's very, very big. And also another fact about the Nile River, it provided food, transportation, and building materials, which is very, very cool. Next, we're gonna go to this farm plot. Egyptians ate mutton right here. Mutton, bread made from wheat. This is all the wheat. And fruits and vegetables. So I added all of this to the world. The next thing is for entertainment. So the what Egyptians did for entertainment was they Egyptians enjoyed festivals, food, celebrations, art, and music. And also housing was built. So if we go over here, there's housing, and um and this is a little house. There's more housing over here. Here, I'll show you guys this house. But the housing, so back to the Nile River, housing was built from using mud from the river that was dried to make bricks. So like sandstone and bricks. That's how they built the houses. So yes, and I'll give you guys. I'll show you what it looks like. So over here, you can come inside here, and you can look at. So so the scribes. This is a little bookshelf, and scribes wrote on walls and on paper called papyrus. So that's another fact about. And then another thing is, now we're going to go to the pyramids. So the pyramids of Egypt are the oldest and largest stone buildings in the world, for another fact. And so there's 3 pyramids. And they're called the pyramids of Giza. As you can see, there's 1, 2, and 3. And they're the largest stone buildings in the world. It's crazy. And the next is the pyramids was a place to keep the bodies of dead pharaohs. So at the bottom of the pyramids, there's dead bodies, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, that's where they would store the dead bodies. Then, now we're going to go to the temple. So the ancient Egyptians worshipped many gods and goddesses. These gods took the form of half human and animal. So it's very cool. And then the people that believed in that would go to temples, as you can see, this is a temple. They would also wait, what was I gonna say? Oh, so the Egyptians, they also believed in afterlife, and about how once you die, that's why they would believe in life after death. This is why they mummified the dead bodies, put them under the pyramids. So now we're going to go to Sphinx of Egypt. The Sphinx of Egypt is a symbol of this, and it is one of the world's largest sculptures. This is the Sphinx in the world that I have, and it's pretty big. It's really, really cool. Then another thing that I added, and then another thing that I added was I added campfires, and I put raw mutton because you can put raw mutton on the campfire. So, because they raw and mutton is sheep if you never knew. So you can if you left click you can put it on the campfire, and then it'll cook into cooked mutton. So that was how they did it. And there's a lot of campfires here. I placed a lot. There's one here. There's like 4 of them here that I cooked. And you see, and then the meat is finished. So now there's, see, all this mutton. So, yeah. And that was how the, that's my world. And there's Rocky Mountains. There's a lot of palm trees over here. Like a lot of palm trees. They had a lot of palm trees in Egypt near the Nile River. They also had very rocky mountains. Now, another thing that I wanted to tell you guys is I didn't like build all of this. I added onto it because if I built all of this would take 5 to 10 years, and I obviously can't build 5 to 10 years because I don't have 5 to 10 years. But what I did do was I downloaded this world. I added a lot of stuff. I added to the Nile River. I added all the wheat over here, all the wheat farms. I added some housing. I also added to the temple. I added the campfires, and I also added to the Sphinx and the pyramids. I also built some of these pyramids. If you see these small pyramids over here, here I'll go closer up to it. I built some of these smaller pyramids. So that's right here. These 3, 1, 2, and 3. I built some of these. I also built some of the palm trees. Because obviously I can't build all of this. But to build all these palm trees and these pyramids and stuff, it still took me a while. It took me like the amount of time I needed. So it took me like 1 month to build some of this. And yeah. So that's my ancient Egypt world. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this presentation, and thank you for listening. Okay, bye.